Okay, this letter is of an unknown date. Maybe we'll get clues. Dear Mother, Father, and Becky, what marvelous news. Think Becky might be visiting. Do hope that she can arrange it. She should come this Friday so that we could spend Saturday shopping and lunching in the Loop. Do have a sitter lined up to take care of Jay Foster the week of the 24th. So this must be maybe July. In case Becky can't come while I work. Anxious to know if Reverend Conning will consent to having Jay Foster baptized on the 30th. If so, we'll leave here on the 28th or 29th in order to be in Columbus by Sunday. Otherwise, we'll just go on to Pennsylvania for a few days. We'll drive back to Columbus the following Thursday. Have finally arranged our trip itinerary, but had to delete San Francisco, which is terribly sad as it's my very favorite city. We'll spend hunks of time in Denver and Riverside and San Diego, California. Must get off several letters this week to warn people that we are coming. Looks as though you'll have the honor of being the celebrants of Jay Foster's first birthday party. So this is mid-July, I would say. Mid-July of 67. I haven't even done any shopping for his presents. May do it on the trip. Jay Foster had his first haircut Thursday, and it must have been quite a traumatic experience as he awakened crying several times that night. Jack took him and reports that Jay Foster was not cooperative, and tears were streaming down his face before the barber was done. There's no doubt now that he's a little boy, but I was quite saddened to see his curly flyaway locks off. Jay Foster has become quite adept and opening and closing cupboard doors, thinks it's great sport, and seems to feel that he deserves access to all the contents of cupboards that he can open. Fell in love with a 4-year-old's 5 to 6 inch metal car at the park this week and was almost beamed by the kid who resented Jay Foster's gaining possession. Forgot to tell you that Jack taught Jay Foster how to back around to slither off our bed. Slither off our bed. Quite a good feat, as now Jay Foster won't split his head open falling off our bed. Could Daddy check into how much it would cost to have headrests black for our Volkswagen? Volkswagen prices vary here from $10.95 to $19.95. Perhaps he won't want Bob's to know that we've been stupid enough to buy another Volkswagen. Kind of like me and my Previous, huh? Wednesday night, had another beach picnic, which was a great success. Jack played golf that afternoon, so came later. He was at Boys Club all last week, where they work on referrals from Chicago school nurses. Guess the mouths were terrible, plus other health problems. Quite a good experience, though. Saturday evening, Jack went to a poker party while I ironed curtains. Sunday, we left at 8 a.m. Should have gone even earlier for Maxwell Street with Bob and Jan Eichhoff. You would have loved this Maxwell Street. Maxwell Street is a tenement area, and on Sunday mornings it becomes a giant sidewalk street junk hot market. Things are spread on blankets and sold off the trucks. Clothing, tools, pipes, toys, new and used, etc., etc. The boys were quite leery of invading this area as you'd never go at night. We had a fantastic time if we'd only had a station wagon. Saw a darling old treadle, Singer sewing machine in wooden cabinet, curly maple, ornate carvings, and looked in perfect condition. Even had wooden box with attachments in a drawer. Price, $10. We couldn't possibly get it into our Volkswagen and couldn't trust this codger to go for Bob and Jan's car, as I'm sure that he would have sold it again. Think I'll regret not buying it for years. Do you remember that? Also, saw lots of chairs and old pictures in frames. One gorgeous frame. This guy was wise, was $27. Did get a Staffordshire butter dish, blue, like your purple and brown ware, for $1.15. Figured it had to be cheaper than stores. Also got you a darling pair of old silver framed bifocals for $1.25. They are so cute and glass in perfect condition. We'll bring them when we come. Don't know what dealers will sell these for, but decorators certainly are using them. Also got a silver tray with handles for $1.50 that I'm going to have resilvered. Jack was a riot and loved bartering for things, said it was much like shopping in Hong Kong or Tokyo. Most everything was filthy, people too. Even saw a fellow pull a watch out of his coat and the buyer appraised it with a jeweler's glass. Quite an adventure. Oh yes, pretty new Kenmore washing machines for $15. Darling puppies for sale too. It was obvious that many of the slum dwellers do their weekly shopping here, as several families toting bags dying to go back another time, as obviously merchandise varies from week to week. Later in the day, we set off for a picnic in the western suburbs, which we never found, so ended up at a marvelous restaurant, Beef and Barrel, for hamburgers, out about 20 miles from Evanston. Jay Foster was awfully good considering we were gone 3 hours just driving. Guess it's good conditioning for his upcoming trip. Oh yes, thanks for the clipping. You have a keen memory, as I used to date the groom, Walter Reckless.
Well, Reckless, his dad was a big professor.
We'll never forget Dr. Reckless marching around his dining room table, pounding on an African drum the last time that I was there with Walter.
He was a big professor at Ohio State.
Oh, wow. Must conclude as I hear Jay Foster stirring latest eating love, cream of asparagus soup. He adores it. Dread changing and dressing him as he's in the stage where he can't bear to be still, simply hates it, sits up while I'm still pinning his diapers, then lunges for the curtains. Anxious to hear from you. Much love, Jack, Tony, and Jay Foster. P.S. Just heard from Bob and Shelley. They're stationed in Texas for his internship. Movers left her couch and 2 chairs here, then backed over one of her trunks filled with best clothes. Sounds typical. So this is mid-July of '67.